Hey guys, it's Danky here. I just woke up from anesthesia. I've been in an operation. I was cleaning Shalila last night and she went off and shot me in the fucking femur and shattered it. Completely shattered it. That's what a 45 will do to you, buddy. I gotta say, I got kind of hard when I felt the kick, but the pain quickly remedied that. Well, got myself to the emergency room, but I passed out in the parking lot because I lost so much blood, and then some car came by and ran over my foot. So now I'm crippled. But anyway, I've got some smelling salts with me. This is gonna kind of wake me up from the anesthesia, so we can actually make the video. Oh God! Fuck! Okay. Hello, everybody, guys and girls, and those who bounce in between. It's me, Danky, back from being shot in the foot by my gun, Jalila, whom I trusted and loved. We're back here with Mr. Dapperton, a very nice human being who is just a real nice guy. He's a bastion of like kindness and human goodness. He's basically like you can put him and Mr. Rogers next to each other, and he would make Mr. Rogers look like Satan. Mr. Dapperton's just, I mean, his name's Mr. Dapperton. So, I mean, you think he's going to be like some kind of mascot like the Peanut Man or something like the Monopoly Man or some kind of dapper looking guy. Imagine my shock and surprise when you open the door and you see this fucking thing staring at you. With one arm a chainsaw, the other arm, of course, grasp around a gun. Perhaps the creepiest thing of all, though, is the mask makes him resemble a slasher movie killer. But this guy wants to talk about a child, a teenager, a young man named David Hogg who survived a shooting when he was going to school one day. And ever since that day, he's been harassed by the Pepe Boys online and by people like Dapperton who feel aggrieved. Uh, they feel like they have been slighted by David Hogg. Especially Dapperton. I think Dapperton has this sort of like a psychic connection because he can seem to sense when people are talking about him even though they don't even mention his name. He seemingly knows that people are conspiring against him before they even do anything. I mean, after all, who can forget his infamous Antifa sleeper cell uprising that was supposed to occur on November 14th? I mean, he wasn't wrong about that, was he? We all remember the black bloc armies charging down the streets, putting all the cops in gulags, and getting rid of all the gender specific bathrooms. I think we all remember those dark days. Well, Mr. Dapperton doesn't want those days to come back. He's part of the resistance against tyranny, and he's going to fight to protect his Second Amendment rights against this high school kid who survived a mass shooting. Damn him. Clearly, clearly a formidable opponent to someone who has 3 assault rifles, a chainsaw for an arm, and a double barrel shotgun, as well as a giant supply of gold.
Sitting there trying to argue the facts with them, they're sitting there spitting ad hominems at you. Calling you.
Wow, look at the big boy word from Dapperton. Ad hominems. I think he might have opened a book to find that one. I'm surprised he could actually get that out of his mouth. I'm surprised a word that's like bigger than 5 letters long can actually be generated by Mr. Dappington.
You're racist, sexist, xenophobic, homophobic, a child killer, whatever they could think of.
Now, I mean, to be honest, this guy fits the description of like all of those terms, just from a purely superficial level. After all, I mean, I'm not Dapperton's friend. I don't know him. Uh, it's kind of like my friend Boogie said. You can always be friends with someone even though you disagree. So, Mr. Dapperton, let me reach across the aisle to you, ask you, you know, I want to be your friend. I want to be your gun buddy. I want to go shooting with you. I want to shoot at the gators in the bayou. I don't know if you live down south, but here we go hard with our guns. My Shalila, even though she betrayed me, that she's kind of a bitch, but it's that sauciness that makes me love her. And I'll be honest, I love feeling that bullet go through my flesh. I love being penetrated by my gun. Um, I'm sure Dapperton's the exact same way.
Look, David Hogg, I don't want to kill children. In fact, I want to save
I don't want to kill children. That's always a good thing to clarify, dude.
as many as possible. That's why I want to make David Hogg. I don't want to kill children. In fact, I want to save as many as possible. That's why I want to make self-defense legal again.
Make self-defense legal again. Hey, guys, did you know that in the United States, self-defense was illegal? Did you know that if someone came up to you with a knife and was like, "Hey, sir, I'm going to kill you now," you're not allowed to try to struggle. You're not allowed to try to fight back. Any kind of like security footage reviewing like the scuffle. They won't really side with you when they see you're clearly fighting for your life against an assailant. There's not an entire like self-defense martial arts industry built up around the whole concept of self-defense. I think Dapperton might have some self-esteem issues because obviously he doesn't think he's tough enough to win in a fist fight. He needs to bring along a fucking chainsaw, a double-barrel shotgun, and 3 assault rifles to the fight before he feels like the playing field is level. And who is his opponent? Highschooler who survived a school shooting. I mean, imagine if this guy was like your son. You were a father, you worked hard, and your son turns into Mr. Dapperton, obsessed with guns and the gold standard, and uh, attacking 15-year-old children online who survived a school shooting. Uh, you know, having this strange mania that he somehow is like directly speaking to you, even though he doesn't know who the fuck you are, Mr. Dapperton. Um, yeah, let's keep going because it's like in a Lovecraft novel when they finally look upon the flesh of the old one, they can't comprehend what they're seeing and they go insane. That's like the feeling I'm getting watching these Dapperton videos. I feel like I've crossed into some weird new dimension where just logic, as we traditionally understand it, just doesn't make any sense. Like, because, because this guy's little topsy turvy world of like Ancapistan fairy tales is just so it's just so weird. Look at all the golden bars. Look at the raw milk. Like, why the raw milk? Like, what a weird battle to fight. What a weird hill to fight on. Like the raw milk debate. So what? Do you like have a cow in your house, or like in your backyard? You just go up right to the tit and you just suck the milk right out. I mean, what a sicko, dude. I at least like my milk like chilled. This guy's fucking raw milk is right on top of the fireplace, and I'm not the kind of a guy that eats that drinks milk by itself anyway. That's weird. That's weird. I'm gonna need some like peanut butter cookies or like something to go with that before I'm gonna like drink just raw ass milk. So this guy, I don't know, man. I'm trying to like figure him out. I'm trying to figure out like why he is the way he is, and the more I try, it's like a Chinese finger trap. Like the more I try, it just the harder it gets to wiggle out. It's just I can't fucking. My mind is broken. My mind is torn in two looking at this guy.
Well, I want to get rid of gun-free zones where people could actually defend their lives if need be. I want to
Because, if everybody's toting guns around, it's going to be a whole lot more safer.
increase.
Especially, imagine seeing this guy like walking down the street. I would feel real safe. I'd feel real safe seeing Mr. Dapperton fully locked and loaded, kitted up, walking down the street.
Private security. I believe that'll help a lot. I think these are real solutions. Your solutions to regulate and ban guns won't work.
Except that it's worked like in every other fucking country that's done it. So, you don't hear about these big mass shootings happening in England or France or Germany. It's always the United States, and it's always these like high capacity assault rifles. It's always like these bump stock assault rifle AR-15 guys, and it's always like these right wing fucking reactionary crazy fascist terrorists. It's like, and I'm not calling Dapperton a terrorist, but I'm saying like aesthetically, he looks threatening. So when people say like he looks like a child killer, I mean dude, you're making threats against fucking David Hogg. You're harassing David Hogg. Don't you think like people are gonna be a little bit sensitive to threats against him right now since he like I don't know survived a fucking mass shooting?
We've seen how regulating and banning things works with drugs. It doesn't. Drugs are still on every street.
Regulating and banning things works with drugs. Drugs aren't regulated. They're fucking They're prohibited, you idiot. We're living in the midst of a drug war. We don't have like a regulated approach to the drug. We have a complete, total prohibition. If you could like go to a clinic and shoot up with like clean needles, some heroin, do you have any idea like how many overdoses you could stop? Do you have any idea like how many cases of like HIV/AIDS you would prevent? If somebody could go take a pill that they knew was like pure MDMA, do you think you would have like hospital admissions for people who are taking like these weird designer research chemicals and having these crazy fucking reactions where they die or they are just like mentally damaged for life? You think society would be better without those things? Think society would just be better with everybody has guns and everybody just has copious amounts of drugs. Everybody just has giant stockpiles of coke like in their private Ancap mansions that they then sell on the free market. They can sell it to kids, they can sell it to who? They can sell it to babies. They don't care. They sell cocaine to babies. It's the will of the free market, baby. You want to coke your kids up, or I don't know why you would, because kids are already hyperactive, but if you want to coke your kids up, you want to do that, that's freedom, dude. That's the anarchist lifestyle, bro.
Corner in the United States of America. The only difference is law-abiding citizens can't get them anymore, and only the criminals can. Well, guess what? That'll happen in every street corner. Banning things works with drugs. It doesn't. Drugs are still on every street corner in the United States of America.
All right, so I don't think he was arguing that drugs should be banned. I mean, he's a libertarian. So of course he thinks we should do drugs, but or at least they should be legal, but let's keep going.
The only difference is law-abiding citizens can't get them anymore, and only the criminals can.
So he's saying law-abiding citizens can't get drugs and only criminals can, but like the very nature of drugs being illegal makes that statement like an absolute state. Like by definition, if you buy drugs, you're breaking the law. Therefore, anybody who would buy drugs would be doing it illegally. once again, big brain Dapperton doesn't fucking understand what what it's like to have a smart thought go through his head. Uh, it's probably just thoughts about like, oh, my guns, and how will I split the booty once I like use my private mercenary army to pillage all of my neighbors uh, in the name of like economic conquest.
Well, guess what? That'll happen to guns. So imagine that. Imagine what will happen in the future, what already happens today.
All right, well, let's imagine that. Let's say that guns are completely prohibited. The government does like a massive buyback program that just gets rid of almost all guns off the street. And if you're caught having a gun, it's a mandatory minimum sentence. Um, let's just imagine for a second that Dapperton's stupid little fantasy is actually a reality. Does he honestly think that would do harm to society? You disarm all the street gangs, you disarm all the potential mass shooters, disarm all the people died in shooting accidents. Of course, there might still be like people who are like professional marksmen or hunters or just enthusiasts who or collectors that uh, can be allowed to get guns, but maybe they'll need like a permit. But that's big government telling you what you can and can't do. Never mind that it's the same big government that tells you you can bear arms. You know, you listen to the government when it tells you you can bear arms, but you don't listen to the government when it tells you to rescind those arms because it's doing real harm to society. So Mr. Dapperton, a man of confusing philosophy, a man of in which the inner machinations of his mind are an enigma.
Where criminals buy AK 47s and AR 15s with 100 round drums off the black market.
But people don't use like high capacity magazine bullets in like gun crimes like mass shootings. I don't understand what's his fucking argument. Like people have high capacity magazines now. His whole argument is like if we ban guns, people will get access to high capacity magazines on the black market. Couldn't they do that anyway then? So it's like saying we shouldn't solve this problem because this other thing is also happening too. And meanwhile, it has nothing to do with the immediate like dynamics of solving that problem. Banning guns would prevent gun crime. It's a statement that requires absolutely no clarification. But in this crazy, topsy turvy, gun fanatic, gun fetish world that we live in, you have to really explain it to these Pepe MAGA Chud lords because it's almost like they have, uh, upon shooting their gun, caused a ringing in their skull, which gave them brain damage. And they just can't really fucking comprehend uh, simple concepts anymore. Dapperton uh, is a scholar. He's a tactician. He follows, of course, in the polemic tradition. So let's hear what else he has to say.
Where we're restricted to 0 guns because we're regulated so much we can't buy them legally.
Who's we? Like law-abiding people? So I mean, I guess in Dapperton's little, dystopia where guns don't exist, and is somehow a dystopia, um, nobody's gonna be able to get guns. Just nobody. Nobody. Guns will cease to exist.
Tell me that doesn't sound like a recipe for disaster because
Getting rid of like guns for everybody sounds pretty fucking good to me, dog. I don't know if you live like near an inner city area where there's lots of gun crime and shooting, but it's always a horrible thing when like a stray bullet hits a kid or ricochets and hits an old lady and they die. And callous assholes like this guy really don't care about any of that kind of stuff. They'll probably tell me to stop virtue signaling. Because, that's not what this guy does, like, on a daily fucking basis. It's like peddle to these people's virtue of, ooh, I'm entitled to my Second Amendment. That's like literally all Dapperton does.
It freaking sounds like it to me.
They could have blood from children spattered all over their faces and they wouldn't take action.
David Hogg, that's freaking hilarious. See, I can do the same thing as you, but see, I'm more mature than that. But
he's really not. David Hogg is like leagues more mature than Dapperton. Look at Dapper. Once again, I say look at the picture. The pictures speak 1,000 words, folks. Do you think David Hogg would have a fucking like online avatar that looks like this? David Hogg's braver than Dapperton has ever been. David Hogg's accomplished more with his life than Dapperton ever will. And I think part of this is bringing out some jealousy on Dapperton's part. Because he realizes that he's fucking older than this kid, and he's still a loser. Meanwhile, this kid survived a school shooting, gets demonized by all these Pepe Frog boys, and he's still kicking it. He's still being cool. He's still out there doing activism. He's not letting this kind of crap stop him. I don't know what Dapperton's excuse is. Maybe he's had a very hard life, and that's sort of made him into the person he is. And if that's true, I have some empathy for him for that. But you can't expect to say stupid things that you say and be able to just step back and act like you're been being attacked by the outrage machine when the outrage machine gets started up. Like you can't poke a bear and then fault the bear for attacking you. You fucking instigated it, dude.
But see, I can do the same thing as you. Check this out. David Hogg, because you created a gun-free zone where nobody could defend their lives.
When did that happen? I want to see that gun-free zone. I want to see a gun-free zone. Where is it?
You are responsible for every person that dies at a gun-free zone.
All right, let's put the logic on the other end of the shoe. Dapperton, what if you had a zone where everybody fucking had guns? I assume by zone you mean like a community or something. Well, let's say in this community, old lady Carruthers kicks the bucket in the middle of the night. Are you going to be held responsible for her death? You fucking moron. Do you even think about the things you say before you say them?
And every mass shooting occurs at a gun-free zone, so you are
Every mass shooting occurs at a gun-free zone? Dude, the very nature of like terroristic mass shootings are something that like nobody can predict when or where they'll happen. So your whole solution is just to give everybody fucking guns and just keep them on their person all the time just in case a mass shooting happens so that they can shoot the shooter. That's such an asinine scenario. That's like keeping a bucket of water hanging over your head at all times, just in case you spontaneously combust. You'll be able to like put it out. Man, Dapperton, dude. I mean, are you really this dumb, or are you just a super secret agent troll, dude? Are you just like the biggest troll in the history of the fucking planet, or are you really are you a real character? Cuz I don't know, man. It just seems like somebody like you is just too cartoonish to like be real. So, somebody whose drawing is like this, and with the raw milk and the golden bars and the guns and the mask, and it's all just like too much to just. I can't believe that this is a serious channel. I can't believe that this guy is like a real dude who like exists on this earth and not just like some kind of character that somebody made up. All that's to say, this fucking guy's video is 13 minutes long. I'm only 2 minutes in. I don't think there's really any analysis to be had here besides this guy just whining about David Hogg. Once again, David Hogg didn't even mention his name. David Hogg probably doesn't even know who this guy is. But this guy has like he has developed this mania that like David Hogg has developed this like deep personal grudge against him. Like David Hogg's going after him specifically. And I don't know. I think the guy needs to maybe uh he needs to maybe go back to his safe space. He needs to, take a deep breath, maybe clean his guns, meditate on the writings of like Ayn Rand and how much of a horrible person she was, and then make his videos, because it seems like when this guy opens his mouth, nothing but cringe comes out. So, all that being said, that is Dapperton, a real special, big-brained guy. He definitely convinced me that ANCAPs are the superior ideology. I'm now switching. I am denouncing the works of Marx and Lenin. Those are bullshit. And I'm now adopting the enlightened ANCAP philosophy. I'm going to go purchase some gold bars and some silencers for my guns. So I will catch you guys next episode.